Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are here today with our first host call of the weekend. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board-certified doctor of naturopathy and the founder of EquaLife, which is a global functional medicine-based practice where we help people all over the world discover their imbalances, help them to improve or replace those deficiencies, as well as remove the toxicities through at-home functional medicine-based lab testing and proven nutritional supplement-based protocols. On the host calls, if you're new to the show, what I'd like to do is be able to answer our community's questions at absolutely no charge, and every single question that comes in does get answered. So if you have your own question, you're welcome to submit it at stephencabral.com/askcabral, and it will be answered live on these weekend shows in the order that they come in. So please, all customer service questions should be sent to support@equa.life. Not here because I won't see them for about 6 to 8 weeks, which is typically when your question will be answered. All right. So now that we have all the formalities out of the way, if you are new to the show, welcome. It's great to have you. And for everyone that's been a part of this community for many years now, again, I appreciate your support. So what I'm going to do right now, as most people know, I never look at this big question Ask Cabral document ahead of time, but I love being able to open it right here on the show and go through all of your questions. So right now we are opening that document, and we're going to be actually starting off on just about 6 weeks ago. And again, as I said, that's typically the amount of time it does take in order to be able to catch up to get back to the queue. Okay, let's get started with our first question of the day, and it is from Nancy. So Nancy is asking this on January 13th, and it is now, let's see, well, it's March 6th. So again, we're looking at about that 6-week time frame. I always like to keep you updated. If your question came in before January 13th, it has been answered. And if it came in after January 13th, it will be coming over the next couple weeks. All right, so Nancy's asking, hello, Dr. Cabral. My family and friends have been changing their diet and lifestyle through everything I share from your amazing podcast and book. We're planning another group detox soon and was wondering if we can use the activated multivitamin instead of the DNS, because the DNS flavors were not that much of a hit for us. Other than adding our own hemp protein, are we mostly just missing the glutathione? Thanks for everything you do, Nancy. All right. So I can't recommend enough kind of finding a way for that daily nutritional support to work. Meaning, like, a lot of people like to shake it up with ice. Some people will blend it with ice. If you need to mix it up with a little bit of cold macadamia nut milk or cold coconut milk, that obviously non-carrageenan free, you can do that. You can try the chocolate if you tried the vanilla before. And again, like, the majority of people very much enjoy the daily nutritional support. So I would try to make that work for you. However, if you can't, that's okay. Yes, you can use 2 multivitamin in the morning with breakfast and 2 multivitamin at night. And you can use an organic hemp protein. You can search that at equa.life for that as well. It's obviously nowhere near as impressive a formula as the daily nutritional support, but when you combine it with the daily activated multivitamin, you're certainly getting close to the same benefits, not all. You're not getting all the detox factors. You're not getting all of as many of the electrolytes, but again, it's a great product. So yes, anyone that can't do the shake, the daily activated multi is a good second best. And then of course, you'll take the AYU and the FM detox capsules as instructed with your your breakfast and your dinner-based shakes or meals. So yes, Nancy, absolutely. All right, next up is going to be KP. Is it possibly a Vata dosha but still gain weight fairly easily? I'm super tall, very small frame, and was always in a healthy weight range but quite over fat. By switching to a whole food plant-based diet, I was able to lose the weight and get down to the correct body fat percentage. But I find that if I eat too full satiety of even those whole plant foods, the scale and body fat will start to climb if I'm not careful. I've been listening to your podcast about doshas and was curious as to see if you can fit the physical description of one, but be more metabolically like a kapha, like I think I am. If so, should I be eating to support my Vata or kapha, or do I choose which one is based on my current goal? It's a great question. So I can answer this for you. There are many people that believe that they are Vata because they grew up that way, or they do feel they have a smaller frame, but they are not necessarily a Vata. But, however, you very well could be a Vata. You just might be a Vata kapha. And that is, it's not uncommon. It's not super common, but it's certainly not uncommon by any means. And there's a lot of people actually online, and I see them saying like, oh, I'm a Vata. They're not really a Vata. I mean, they're lean, there's no doubt about it, but they're more kapha Vata. And I have a feeling that you keep yourself in great shape by watching what you eat. You might even exercise. Like overall, you're healthy. But if you were to let yourself kind of live like the average American, you might gain weight very easily. I believe it's very possible that you might be a kapha Vata, if not, of course, then a Vata kapha. And that means that you simply needed to keep the two of those balanced. Now, it's very strange, right? Because you have polar opposites, and yet they could be very close to, it's not a 50-50. Of course, one is going to be more dominant than the other, but it could be very close. And so what do you need to do? Well, you need to then understand your prakriti, which is your genotype, right? That's your dosha. Let's just say it's 60% Vata, 30% kapha, and 10% pitta. Okay, maybe it is that, or maybe it's more like 50-40-10, like 50% Vata, 40% kapha, 10% pitta. It could be, right? So I don't see you, I don't know you, but that's what it could be. So now, knowing that, you say, okay, here's what I need to do. It might be easier for me to keep the weight off during the summertime. In the warmer months, my metabolism is going to be a little bit more stoked. I'm going to be more active. Like that's very possible. So you might actually lean more towards a balanced Vata, kapha-based diet, and even maybe more towards Vata. But if you find yourself really starting to gain weight, especially during the winter time, you need to be on what's called a kapha pacifying diet. So you are actually going to go definitely high in vegetables and a little bit of berries in there, but probably lower on your starches. And so that's going to help you achieve your goals overall, since we do know that you're maintaining a healthy body fat and BMI is one of the most important things, if not like the top 2 to 3 for overall health and longevity. It's a good question. Thank you, KP. Karen's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm 48 years old, and I've noticed that over the years, I tend to get cold sores more frequently than I used to, even though I eat much healthier diet than I did when I was younger. And I'm much better at managing stress than I used to as well. This may be coincidental, but it seems like anytime I supplement with creatine, I end up with a cold sore. Nothing I found online would suggest that creatine increase this incidence of cold sores, but I'm interested in hearing any insight you might have. I listened to your other podcasts related to cold sores, but I didn't hear anything specifically to supplements that might trigger them in some people. Thanks for being such a good resource. It is incredibly appreciated. Karen, I'm always happy to help. And, it's very interesting that creatine for you might specifically increase cold sores. Now, I do know that some supplements do increase cold sores. There's definitely, without a doubt, a correlation between L-arginine or maybe even an L-citrulline or maybe even an L-ornithine-based supplement, anything that can increase like nitric oxide that may increase cold sores. But is there anything where creatine supplementation would increase? It's quite interesting, but there is a tie between arginine and creatine. So it does seem that arginine will increase. So let's just say you're supplementing or you're taking in more higher L-arginine based foods or supplements. There does seem to be an increase in creatine along with those supplements, but I have not seen any so meaning like your creatine availability would be higher. So that's an interesting way to look at it. Now, could creatine then be able to help increase L-arginine? I don't have the answer to that, but you could definitely do a little bit of research on your own to see if there are any arginine creatine based ties. And you know what? You might be able to find some obscure research out there that actually does prove that. And if that's the case, well, then you do have your answer. And just keep in mind, with a lot of these cold sores, because that's what we're talking about. I just want to confirm that. Cold sores, yes. That this herpes-based virus, what you want to do, a lot of people say you can get rid of it, you can't get rid of it. Well, here's the thing. We like to keep it dormant either way so that it's not an issue. And for a lot of people with cold sores, you absolutely want to be looking at what we do, which is our daily foundational protocol, and you want to look at the immunity protocol. So you want to get in that vitamin D. You definitely want to get in your zinc on a near daily basis. I would get it in every day with that balanced zinc or FM zinc, and I'd be taking in your vitamin D. So vitamin C and zinc, it's like paramount that you want to be using those for cold sores. A lot of people say, oh, I like to add olive leaf. I like to add all these different things. Colloidal silver, fine, but they certainly don't take the place of what your body actually needs, which is the vitamin D, which is the zinc, and which is the vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. And the reason why I say that, of course, all of your good B vitamins, is because, you know, your body's not missing any colloidal silver and it's not missing any olive leaf in order to be healthy. Now, those things can be great for viruses. There's no doubt about it. However, your body at no point was missing those in order to be healthy. And then, of course, you might be someone that just does well with a lower dose L-lysine based supplement as well. So again, I can't provide any treatment protocols, no cures, no diagnosis here on the podcast. You know that. That's against FDA regulations. We would never do that. But what we do is try to help people get to the underlying root cause imbalances, and this could be one. All right, Georgina is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I am about to enroll in IHP. Super excited. I'm interested in your thoughts on the blood type diet. Thank you so much for all you do. You're awesome. Georgina, thank you. You're awesome. So we can't wait to have you inside of the IHP-based program. We only allow in 100 people per month, and it is the most amazing group of people on the planet. I say that not joking. Like, they're some of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. They really are. So people are there to learn how to heal themselves. They're learning how to heal other members in the family. They are learning to then develop practices of their own or grow their own health-based practice. So that's what we do. We certify the next generation of health coaches, and about I would say like 30% or so are already in the health-based field as doctors and acupuncturists and chiropractors and nurses. There's about 25% that are probably personal trainers and yoga instructors and all sorts of other great health-based advocates and coaches or previous health coaches from other organizations, and then 50% who have no previous experience. So, I mean, there's something for everybody, no doubt about it. And yeah, it's an amazing group. That's anybody who wants to learn more can simply go to ihp.coach. That's the website name, or integrativehealthpractitioner.org. Same thing, gets you to the same place. All right, blood type diet. Definitely spoken about this before. And I'm going to answer it, but I want you to go to stephencabral.com/podcast. And here's why. Because you wouldn't have had to wait, Georgina, 6 weeks for your answer. And I know, obviously, people jump into this podcast at different times, but I'm just going to type in literally blood type diet. And I have no doubt there's going to be some shows that pop up. So let's check out what pops up. All right. 1044, 583, 485, 281. These are all shows the blood type diet have been talked about. Then I'm going to put this in quotations, which means that when you put in the search box in quotations, it means it has to exactly show up somewhere on the page on blood type diet. 1044, 583, 485, and 281. All of those talk about the blood type diet. So I will answer your question now, but for more information on the blood type diet, definitely check those out. Okay, so Peter D'Adamo and Peter, I believe, was the son. Joseph D'Adamo was the father. I apologize if I'm not recognizing or remembering the first name, but D'Adamo is the name of the family. Now, I was fortunate, again, one of these serendipitous-based occurrences, when I was studying to become a doctor of naturopathy. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I was living in Boston, Massachusetts also at the time. I took a trip up to the Didamo Center, and I actually did many, many visits with them to begin to learn much more about the Didamo and blood type diet from them themselves. I did all sorts of different detoxes up there. I followed the blood type diet, all these different things. Now, what I can tell you is this, that there's a lot of truth to the blood type diet. However, it is not an all for one, that is for sure. The blood type diet worked partially for me and not all that well for me because I had to be eating a good amount of soy, and soy had a very detrimental effect on my body. Here's what I can say, though. There is so much that goes along with it if you're following it like at their institute in New Hampshire where you're doing detoxes and all these great healthy things that you can also get healthy from doing healthy things and eliminating a lot of processed foods. So I think that there's some truth to it. There's no doubt about it. However, the human body is not as simple as recognizing certain proteins, antigens inside of the body based on your A, B, or O based blood type. So again, I believe there's some truth to it. It's not the end all be all, meaning you can't just do that. And Ayurveda even points to it a bit as well. Dr. Vasant Lad and my mentor, Dr. Pete, both taught inside of the Ayurvedic textbooks that I've recommended before. Sometimes there's a correlation between a Vata and a blood type A, and a kapha and a blood type O, and then a kind of pitta, anything may go. It could be an A, B, or B, you know? So it's very interesting. They came out with subtypes and there's all different, like there's like a rabbit hole, right? And I think that people should learn about it, but I certainly, and I know for a fact that for most people, that alone is not going to be their answer. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. Let's do another question today because I like to get 6 in. So we did Nancy, and we answered KP and Karen and Georgina. So let's move on to Leslie. Thanks for the question. Thanks for your show. Question. I've been using Fatlocity, and I find if I take the evening dose with dinner, it keeps me awake. How can I manage that? I've done a 21-day, then a 14-day, and now 7-day detoxes over the lockdown since last March. I sleep great during the detoxes. I would love to lose another 20 pounds. I use the DNS, Adrenal Soothe, and magnesium. I find it difficult to stay on such a restricted diet, so I add back in blueberries and sweet potato at lunch, and I no longer lose weight. If I don't eat the sweet potato, I feel strong food compulsions around mid-afternoon, and I'm often unable to make it to dinner until snacking or without snacking. Fruit snacks sometimes put me in a tailspin where I'm more hungry and want to start grazing throughout the pantry. I've started to use hypnotherapy to help. I lost some weight. I would like to use the second dose of nighttime Fatlocity and still be able to sleep well. Thanks for the ideas, Leslie. Leslie, happy to help. And what you can do is you can actually take it before dinner, mid-afternoon if you'd like, and that's not going to be an issue at all. So try that for sure. I mean, that's going to be, 6 hours before bed? Let's say you take it at 4 p.m. You have, yeah, without a doubt. Remember, there's the nighttime one is actually to help sleep. So if you are not, I can't recommend enough, even if you only ran one lab, Leslie, I would run the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism lab. Let's look at what is going on with your cortisol. What's going on with your thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, and there's something going on here. There's no doubt about it, because you should be able to have a couple of blueberries in the morning. You should be able to have a half a sweet potato or sweet potato at lunch, especially if you've been following the protocols. So now, again, you've done great. Honestly, you've lost what? Well, I don't know. It didn't say how much you've lost, but you got 20 more pounds to go. That's not that much. Like, we can definitely help you there. There's no doubt about it. So let's run that lab. I'd love you to run the Big Five, which includes the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism. But if you can only run one, well, let's run that one. So Leslie, 4 p.m., try that out for your nighttime Fatlocity. And again, so many people get such amazing results with the Fatlocity system. Can't recommend that enough. And just make sure, Leslie, too, that you're getting your 10,000 steps per day. So I want you doing your workouts 3-4 days a week, but I want you getting 10,000 steps walking per day. And of course, part of your exercise routine will help you to get to that 10,000 steps, all right, every day. Let's get in one more question. Diane says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I listen to your podcast every day for the past 3 years, and I've joined IHP. It is priceless. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. My question is, I have a friend in his late 50s treated with chemo for stage 3 colon cancer. He has been off chemo for at least 1.5 years, but suffers severe debilitating peripheral neuropathy in his lower extremities. His physician says there's nothing they can do. Do you have any suggestions? Would a detox help, or is this a done deal? Thanks. Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the crazy thing about chemo is that it can save your life for many, many people. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to say that. Of course, I'm not a chemo or radiation first type of person, but again, I don't give treatment protocols for sure, and definitely not for cancer. However, some people, obviously, it's life-saving. But you know, what chemo does is that it's essentially trying to kill all of those cancer cells, and it gets so close to almost killing the individual, but it kills the cancer cells first, and then we try to bring that person back to life. Like, that's really what it is. And it's I mean, again, if it saved this person's life, then you know, fantastic, and we're lucky to have it, honestly. Like, that's just the way that it is. So here's the thing, though. Now, what is going on within this body to cause peripheral neuropathy? That's what we need to find out. And in my opinion, of course, if this person's healthy enough, then we can do a 21-day detox, all right? We start to move this stuff out of the body. Are they doing dry brushing? Are they doing rebounding? Are they doing any sauna-based therapy? I mean, I can't recommend, like, enough, of course, detox in the body. But let's run the Big 5 labs. Honestly, if this person can run the Big 5 labs, what do their B vitamin levels look like? What about their zinc? What about their vitamin C? Do they have any heavy metals that can cause peripheral neuropathy? So I would run the Big 5 labs, get a personalized plan for you. And of course, the 21-day detox can be done after you run those labs. If, again, I can't give you medical advice if this person's healthy enough to be able to do that. Hopefully that was helpful. We will be back tomorrow answering 6 more of our community's questions. Thank you so much. Hope you're having an amazing weekend, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Take care. I appreciate you listening all the way to the end of the show. And before you go, what I want to do is share with you what is going on right now over at our global health practice, equa.life. That is where all of our health coaching, our protocols, our at-home lab testing, all nutritional supplements, basically everything lives there. That was inside of our Boston practice that we've now made a global-based process and practice to open source everything that you could get in a functional medicine concierge practice. Now open that up to the entire world. So we're always excited about being able to share with you what's new, what's the latest, what's the greatest that we want to be able to bring to people. And this week we want to be able to get you a bottle of our daily digestive enzyme. This is absolutely one of our most popular products, and that is because if you're dealing with bloating-based issues, slow digestion, gas after meals, or of course just kind of feeling like a little bit too full after you eat, an enzyme can help with those particular issues. So right now on all orders over $99, you are going to get a free bottle of our daily digestive enzyme. This is a almost $40 value, yours free on orders over $99. And again, I know many of you took advantage of that minerals and metals based test last week. If you have low levels of minerals on that lab test, you'll know that you're not absorbing all of your nutrients properly, which is also another great reason to be using an enzyme. Just about a couple years ago, I said to myself, honestly, there's no downside to using an enzyme for me at my whole food-based meals, and that's exactly what I do every single day. It's part of my daily foundational protocol level 3, and I use it with every lunch and every dinner to break down my food to a greater degree. And again, I want to be able to share that same product with you. So you can test it out, yours completely free on all orders while supplies last at equa.life. That's EQUI.LIFE. Take care, everyone.